So I just had to share something really cool that I was thinking about. So the science of happiness, well-being, all of this kind of revolves around understanding how do we work as humans. Now, one of the areas that's really cool to look into is what's called human need theory. And that's really just the study of how do we go about filling our needs as people. So most of you probably know something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And that basically tells us things like, first we look at our physical needs, we make sure that we have somewhere to live, something to eat, and then we move up into other needs. Now, the way that this was written in a pyramid leads people a lot of time to kind of compartmentalize our needs and think that our needs are all separate. What's really cool is something that I found from Manfred Max Neef, who was also doing a study of needs. And he looked at it and said, hey, you know what, a lot of these needs are really intertwined. And he described 3 types of ways of satisfying our needs that we typically come up with. Now, the ways that we satisfy needs can be through patterns of behavior, it can be through new habits that we try to create, or simple actions that we take. So he described these 3 types, one of them being a singular satisfier. Now, a singular satisfier means that I do something, I have a pattern of behavior that fills one need, and it doesn't touch any other needs. So this is the one that is kind of compartmentalized, the way that we think about them with Maslow sometimes. The next type is destructive. Now, if you think about it, you don't wake up and you say, hey, I'm going to do something that really destroys my ability to fulfill all my other needs. But a lot of times we find this. So the classic example for me is when I'm tired at night, the kids are finally in bed, and I want something to relax. Now, one of those things for me is cookies. It just has that shot of dopamine, that feeling of pleasure that goes to my brain, and it helps me to be able to relax. But obviously, eating cookies every night gets in the way of my other needs that I have to be healthy, to feel like I'm fit, and I can do things with my body. I've always enjoyed that as an athlete. So eating cookies at night is a satisfier that I do, and I do it probably more than I like to admit. So that's what we call a destructive satisfier. It does fill a need, but it impacts our ability to fill other needs. So the third type of satisfier is called a synergistic satisfier. And as you can imagine, this is a satisfier that is able to fill multiple needs at once. So many times, I love this intertwining because a lot of times I think we think of each of our patterns of behavior separate, and we don't often dig into why am I really doing this? Because I don't know about you, but most people that I meet, we don't wake up and just say, I think I'm going to do this for no reason, right? We have a reason behind why we do the things that we do. So we do things in a search to fulfill all of our different needs: social, emotional, physical, mental, financial, lots of different needs that we have. So for me, the value in this is being able to step back and examine the patterns of behavior that I have. And if I feel a need to change, I can ask myself a couple of questions. First, why am I doing the things that I'm doing right now? It's easy to get caught up in the, condemning myself or criticizing myself for the things that I do. But there's a reason I do what I do. So first I try to understand it and look at it and be compassionate with myself and understanding that there is a reason why. The second thing that this is going to help me to do that I've started trying to practice is looking at, can I make small shifts in the behaviors and the patterns of behaviors that I have in my life? And change is so much easier when we make small shifts to align my patterns of behavior to fill more than one need. So an example with the cookies, right? So I still have this habit and I like to have something that feels like a little bit of a treat. But I've also found that I really like kind of vanilla Greek yogurt with fruit. I know that my body also needs protein. So when I changed and made a small shift from having cookies to having this fruit and yogurt, I still was getting something that's relaxing, but it also helped fulfill other needs. And that small shift was a lot easier to do than to just say, I'm going to stop having any treat. Not quite there yet. Maybe I'll find a different satisfier. But for me, there's real power then in learning to have compassion and recognize that we're not just irrational beings. There's a reason why I do them. And as I look for the reason why, I can make small shifts to fulfill all of my needs better. So I love seeing that, right? Like it's kind of like hacking our own behaviors and the things that we do. And there's a lot of other research out there about similar ways that this shows up. About how atomic habits is one, how we make small shift to habits. So first step for me and my aha was look at my own needs. Why do I do it? Understand why I do it, and then I can make a better solution of filling all of those needs. So hope you keep learning. Try it out this week. Let me know how it goes. And we'll keep learning what is out there in the science of happiness. I'll see you next time.